Alright, day 15. Where are we at? Here. Yeah, texturedless. So, the thing with the texturedless is that to uniquely identify a sprite, we really have to know which sprite it is, which MIP it is, which animation it is, and which frame of the animation it is. Now we don't have different animations, and we don't have different frames, so what I want to do first is to just implement that part. And then do the other parts. Also, these MIPs, the MIPs don't actually have to go in powers of 2. Although they probably should. Well, anyway. What do we got here? Alright, so let's open a sprite. And let's, I guess, add file, new is Control N, yeah, that makes sense, Control N. Width 32, height 32, RGBA. Well, really, I want a copy of this. File, save as. So we're just gonna call this command walk. And keep it to 1 frame for now. And I mean, if it's only 1 frame, then that'll do. And well, the other one I guess should just be, well, we can leave it as just commando. It's like the default animation. Okay, so now that we have commando walk, we need to be able to, like, it will probably crash, right, at an unrecognized file name or something. Yeah. Okay, so it's else if commando walk atlas ID commando walk. So yeah, I mean, this will have to be auto-generated, but before doing that, I'll just do it manually, just to see what I need to auto-generate. Also, these _1s should probably just, well, make it explicit. Like that. These _2s become _MIP2s. Alright, so this will compile and run, but of course we're not using command walk for anything. Well, to switch animations, when every animation has 1 frame, it's like, yeah, where do we do the update? Here, the temp update. Yes, okay, so this is the sprite that we're modifying. If the keys are down, okay. I mean, we can just say sprite sprite oh, this is interesting, right? So given a sprite, okay, so these two things, so what I'm thinking, right, is that I should probably split. So in the shader we only need to know this, essentially. We only need to know what where the texture is in the atlas. Whereas while we are updating things, we don't actually care where, like, we are not even keeping the atlas on the CPU. So we don't actually care, so we probably should type sprite rect, I mean sprite common. Sprite common would be these things. Position, offset, and whether it's mirrored. So by default everything's right facing, mirrored, the left facing. So that's sprite common. And then sprite can just be this, and this is not an Atlas ID. I mean, yeah, we do need Atlas IDs, but this should probably just have, just to be easier to work with, should just be like sprite ID, or I mean entity ID, let's say entity, and then animation ID, animation, and then MIP ID, MIP, I mean, that's not really it. I mean, this is just an i32 MIP, like which MIP are we using out of the available MIPs, although now let's type it, MIP, and there's also like animation progress, but this isn't implemented. As 01. Okay, so why is this in the platform anyway? Yeah, let's probably move it up. Well, C buffers platform for sure, and well, screen rec kind of it as well. Yeah, but this isn't. Alright, sprite common. Okay, so well, okay, so this is type def enum entity ID, and we've got commando, and well, probably keep it lowercase to be consistent. So we've got commando and Lemurian entity ID underscore. There we go. So that's the entities, and then we've got animations, type def enum. Well, I mean, this could just be animation ID. Well, well, actually, I mean, we're not necessarily gonna have global animation ID, so I guess this is just an int. we're gonna have commando animations, right? Which again, yeah, all of this needs to be just auto-generated from the files. I mean, idle could just be the default, right? And then everything else is like in addition to that. And same for Lemurian. Although, I mean, at this point we could capitalize it, right? But okay, if that's gonna be capitalized, then yeah, this probably should as well. That's entity, that's animation ID. We only have one of these for the Lemurian. Yeah. And then we've got... should this just hang out here? Maybe. Then we've got Atlas ID, which is like an amalgamation of all of those things. So like Atlas ID, Commando MIP1, well, we've got MIP ID, right? Type def enum, MIP ID, MIP ID 1, 2, and I mean at this point I could just do that. Yeah, why not? Let's capitalize them. We might, well, I mean, we might as well. I mean, we might not need this, or maybe we will. Not sure. Well, we'll see how it works out. Okay, so sprite commons, that's that. Yeah, so that's okay. And now type def struct sprite, I guess sprite tract. Yeah, this is what's going into the shader, which is sprite common and just the rectangle. Common. And the rectangle would be rect now text in Atlas that. Okay, so up here we've got offset off. Okay, well, the first to position and offset this would be common dot then text and atlas, common dot pose, common, and this is common dot again. Alright, so that's that. Then we've got these things. Alright. White pixel font. Commando, Lemurian, these MIPs. This. Yeah, and this goes that right into the Atlas, right? And I guess this will still work. Yeah, this will still work. fine. Mip count is now mip ID count. And what do we got here? Well, dot pause is just dot common dot pause text and atlas. Oh wait, this is yeah. It's just those ones. Okay, mip2 is capital M. Commando is capital C. Lemurian is capital L. Lemurians. Alright. So that's right. Well, we don't actually need to supply IDs anymore. Yeah, so we can just supply, yeah, so this makes a lot more sense. Okay, Atlas ID white pixel, Atlas ID font, Atlas ID font, mirrorx. Okay, so this is common dot, and this is mip ID count. Okay. So we're updating these rects, right? Alright, so now yeah, we're not actually using sprites anywhere. We're just using these sprite rects. Okay, well, that's actually a problem. Hold on, because we do need to be storing sprites somewhere, and sprite rects. So it's like, yeah. So we have these sprite rects, rectangles, but we also need to store the sprites. Well, let's say struct sprite, no, not sprite common, sprite, just sprite, struct sprite star pointer I64 whatever lang, gear I64 capacity, sprites capacity is 1024. Let's say, yeah, really this is like game state sort of thing, so yeah, let's just put it at the top maybe. Like somewhere we need to allocate it. So there's our sprites. Now sprites pointer is arena alloc array memory. Well, permanent actually. This one's permanent. Sprite and then sprites capacity like that. Okay, now we have sprites, and we shouldn't really be modifying this rect array, because that needs to be constructed. Okay, creating rect storage is all fine. I mean, sprites. Okay, but let's just make them the same capacity as how many sprites we have. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Yeah, this part. Yeah, this should really be... Okay, so the screen is fine, but this should be sprites. Yeah, like that. And this should be sprite. So we're not actually supplying text and atlas anymore. Mirror offset, yeah, not setting those. And what's it? Okay, animation progress could be 0, animation ID could be 0, entity. Okay, so entity ID commando. Mirror commando and entity ID Lemurian. Okay, so commando Lemurian. That's what we had before. These are screen rects, those are different. Okay, now the updates. Yeah. So this... really, our sprites should probably just have a MIP level, like MIP ID, MIP. Because it's global for all sprites, they all have the same MIP. So by default that's just like 0. Yeah, this sprite scale multiplier thing. I mean, we do need it in the C buffer, but it... yeah, because we need to let the GPU know what it is. We don't really want to compute it every time, so yeah, this needs to be kind of synchronized with the sprite MIP level. Somehow, I mean, it's right now it's 1, right? Because we are... This needs to be synchronized with the sprite MIP level. So right now it's manually synchronized. That's just how it is. Yeah. And MIP ID, yeah, so 1 is the default. Okay, fine. Entity, this is fine. Okay. So down here is... I mean, all this does, really, is it does sprites MIP is next MIP index, like that. Remove, okay, so that's all we really need to do to figure out I mean, current MIP index is just sprites mip. Just that. Yeah, there we go. That's all we need to cycle between MIPS. Now, the thing that's not gonna work here is this copy rects thing. Because we don't have the rects. And we don't actually want to do the copy at all. Actually, come to think of it, right? Since we're gonna have to construct the rects anyway, that kind of means that in D3D11 we don't actually need this in the sprite rects. So like what we need in the sprite rects is just these things, essentially. Sampler, VS, and then buffer. And it's in the screen rects that we need all of those parts. Well, let's say we need. I mean, I guess we do kind of need. Okay, so maybe this needs to be compressed somehow. Okay. Okay, so of course this isn't gonna work like this. Well, for the sprite rects, right? It's only gonna work like this for the screen rects. Which means that for sprite rects we just need to do the buffer thing. Like this part. This is D3D11 sprite rects sprite buffer. There it is. And this would be size of sprite rect. So that would be a storing times sprite's capacity. That's how many we could possibly store. That's the maximum. Okay, so now we can inline that, I guess. Okay, so that's the buffer for the sprites, and this is the whole thing for the screen. Okay. Alright. So what we're updating is we're updating actually just the first sprite. Yeah, so sprite, common mirror, sprite, common position. If we press toggle scaling, then the whole MIP level changes. C buffer storage camera position is set. I mean, I guess this scale multiplier thing could just be set here, just like we're setting camera position. We can just set it here. And then this isn't necessary to do anymore, so I mean, there's the left is sprites MIP while left minus minus. This needs to be multiplied by 2. Yeah, I mean, that way it's always synchronized. Yeah, it's not gonna be very large anyway, so yeah, whatever. Just probably just put it here. Although that does mean that the initial one still needs to be set, right? Correctly. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do the thing that will always be correct, and we'll see if that's a problem. So the first map will correspond to nothing. The second map will do this once. So yeah, I think that's correct. That's what we want. All right. So sorted that out. Now sprite. Okay, so this is not a copyright situation anymore. Yeah, because we actually need to construct the rect kind of ourselves. So rects, just replace it with that and just call it. And this needs to be a manual thing. Okay, so we copy the screen rects, but for i32 i64, I guess, right index is 0, right index is less than sprites. Sprites length, sprite index plus plus. Okay. Sprite is sprites pointer plus sprite index. Sprite rect sprite rect is that. Well, actually we need to map it, right? Okay, so we go in here, Then we go into that copy buffer. We'll look at this. All right. This needs to be done outside. Alright, so here's what's gonna happen, right? So we're mapping it. Then at the end of this we're unmapping it. There we go. We map it. Right buffer. Okay, there we go. We map it. We get the array. Which is mapped p data with star, yeah. Alright, we map it, we cast it. We map it, we cast it, then we iterate through the sprites that we have, and we do something like sprite rect common is sprite common, so that part is copied over. However, the atlas location needs to be worked out somehow. How are we gonna work it out is the question. So, alright. What other errors do we have in here? Oh, draw rects. Okay, so this only works for screen. And sprite needs to work differently now. Oh my god. There. Context rects sprite sampler, context rects sprite buffer, context rects sprite vs size of. Okay, so that is not correct anymore. So this is actually size of sprite rect. And that is sprite slang. Okay. Ooh. Okay. That is what's happening. Semicolon. Okay. Now we just need to copy the thing. I mean, we need to somehow construct the atlas location. Before we do that, okay, well, sprite rect stars sprite rect is sprite rect plus sprite index. Sprite rect text in atlas is atlas locations pointer atlas ID commando mip1, let's say. Let's just give them all the same rectangle just to see. There we go. Okay, so it is working, kind of. Okay, so now it's just a matter of, well, here's how it was gonna work, right? So atlas ID. This needs to be worked out somehow, and then at the end, after we work it out, we just do ID plus equals mip sprite mip, because mip was the last one. And then we just do ID here. Like that. So let's say it's commando ID walk mip1. Yeah, so that's the walking mip. Walking sprite. Okay, so this is how the MIPs are going to work. We just add it. But we need to, of course, determine. We know what the entity is. So if we could just do something like sprite entity, if we can just do this, that would make it pretty easy. Of course, in order to be able to do that, okay, well, entity none, let's say we have a none, which is a 0, right? But then commando, well, like, we kind of want it to be a 0, 1, 2 there, right? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, come on. Okay, yeah. The commando, and then Lemurian would be 6. Okay, so now. Oh, fuck's sake. The drilling. Now, how do we switch between animations? Like, it's pretty easy to go to the first part, like to go here, and it's easy to switch between MIPS, but the stuff that's in between, well, I mean, to go from one, well, to go from the first animation that we have to the next animation, you just need to skip over however many MIPS you have. So it's like ID plus equals MIP count times animation ID. Sprite animation ID. Yeah, so we start at entity ID, then we skip over to the correct animation, and then we skip over to the correct MIP. Is it entity ID? No. it's a different. So we just cast it. Like we generate them. We generate this in such a way so that it's synchronized with that. Okay. So it's not quite switching there, but that's because I didn't write the code to do that, I think. Sprite asserts for right entity is entity ID commando. Animation ID commando animation ID walk. So this is how you just switch between animations, and I guess by default we'll just put it into the idle. Okay, so there we go. Now it's animating, kind of. Alright. Well, the next step would be to actually auto-generate. Well, the next step is to add some frames, and then to auto-generate. Alright. What do we got? We've got this. Rework that. That's fine. Yeah, that's also fine. Yep. Yeah, alright. Alright. Add an animation for commando. Right. Well, that's all for today. Thanks everyone.